The final teaching just came through for me, and it said, you wanted to know who you are, and now you do. So now the final teaching is to live joyfully. That is so smart. I had a good laugh. It said, now you can just live joyfully. That's the final teaching. You don't have to wonder anymore. I mean, you do have to wonder, but now you know who you are. So go play. That's the final invitation. Go play. You just go. Go play. God, that's smart. Oh, that's so smart. I'm really good at playing, so it shouldn't be too hard. This is my final integration video. It's been about just over 2 weeks since we returned from the pilgrimage, and I thought I'd share from the heart what has happened, what has changed, what is now a part of my awareness. The pilgrimage and the transformation that took place is really beyond words, but it was a slow unfolding, it felt like, starting with at the very beginning, just really starting on a personal level and showing me that I have to love myself in a much deeper way than I've been doing it, a less conditional way. And it really started immediately in the first ceremony, just went right to the root of that so that I could move on. And as that anchored in, it progressively got more expansive, and the medicine really took me into a higher state of consciousness for the full 2-week period. And if I had to summarize what has changed is my understanding of myself, where I come from, what I'm made of, and it's very difficult to put it in words, but it's an illumination understanding. It's a light understanding. The way I kind of began to recognize myself was an embodiment of light, and that just progressively got more expansive and more expansive. And what I learned is that when we start to connect to ourselves as light, or as the earth, or anything like that, we start to really be able to experience a deep level of fullness and possibility and potentiality. And light is when you really connect with yourself as light. What seems to happen is it's just so abundant and so all-encompassing that I think this is where enlightenment comes from, as you start to understand in yourself as light, which is the creator. In our galaxy, seemingly, that's what it seems to me, is that the light is the creator, or in our galaxy, it's our sun. And as we start to connect with the sun in that way, we become creators, we become that same energy, that same potentiality. And as the subject-object relating kind of behavior, which the mind when the mind gets involved, it creates a separation. But once the mind is finally relaxed enough or loosened up enough, the subject-object relating seems to fall away, and then you are able to actually sit harmoniously in that pure potential, that pure illuminated state. And what I learned is that that's the higher self. That's a higher way to know yourself. And as I've started to know myself in that way and continue to practice this now daily, every morning, every afternoon, it's not about even just being only that. We really are everything. We have access to everything, and we have choice and freedom to be all of the expression. And that's my practice, is what I've learned now, is I have to learn to embody the light and express here on earth as a representative of my higher self, of the light, and share light wisdom and walk the earth in such a way that's in harmony and in alignment with that. And it's a beautiful path to know yourself in that kind of a way, because as I've connected to that, it becomes this place that you know how to rest in, basically. When I was in these states, I'd go into these shavasana states where you're just in full bliss, fully held by something much more intelligent, a supreme intelligence, which is a part of you, and you can rest in that state. And it's an eternal state. It's bigger than time that we relate to on earth. And as I'm developing this relationship, this way of relating to all of my relations, there's an ease, and the fear of death drops away, because when it's all said and done, there's a clear path home to the light. And it was really funny, like, thinking about all of, whenever you hear about a death scenario where somebody died and came back to life, they always say that they went into the light. And the light is everywhere. Everything is made of it. It's on the most fundamental level. Everything is carrying light. Every breath we take, the prana is carrying light and distributing it to the cells, to the biology, and the spirit is working its way through in that way. And that is the gift I've received from this ceremonies, to understand myself in that way. And now I have all these different ways that I can start to understand myself, as the earth, as an embodiment of the earth, as the elements. And when we start to put our attention on that, we basically are no longer paying attention to the petty problems that the mind might create when in regular society, because usually the way we relate to ourselves is as our identity structures, or some people call it the ego, and there's a whole bunch of problems from that perspective. And when we start to move away from that way of relating, it's not that the problems aren't there, they're not relevant anymore in the same way. And I think that's where the peacefulness and the gift that I've received comes in, is life doesn't have to be a struggle. It can be beautiful and expansive, and it is those things if we want it to be. And if you choose to go on the spiritual path to find out the deeper levels of who you are, you'll find yourself as an illuminated being in your own way, whatever that is. And I'm really excited about where these practices can take me, because this is my first, maybe not my first, but to be able to relate to myself as light and understand myself that way has changed everything for me. It's changed what I see in the world, and and how I feel. And I'm excited to see how else I can relate to all my relations. And transformation is This was a truly transformational retreat. We joked about it a lot on the retreat. If you're interested in transformational work, it's a real thing. And if you want to change, you can. If you desire to, and you want to, and you're ready to let go. And I was ready. I think I've been ready for a long time. And this pilgrimage was really the completion cycle of a 7-year journey for me. My final ceremony was sitting up in the Alpine. We had trekked out to the Alpine. It was like way up in the mountains, snowy peaks everywhere, and I was sitting with my mesa, and the final teaching that was carried forward for me was or given to me was, it said, "You wanted to know who you are, and now you do. So go live joyfully." Like kind of whisking me away like a child, like a little kid. Like, go play now that you know who you are. And that really completed a cycle for me, because it was 7 years ago when I first started the spiritual path, and I started that path with the question, who am I? Who am I? And I wanted to know. And the journey, that question will continue to unfold, but there was a large completion that happened of, I feel like I really understand at a new level, and I know who I am. And that is deeply peaceful to feel. And the next question that came up was, what else do you want to create now? And I guess that's where I'm sitting in now. And I'm going to start by trying to edit this video that I filmed some stuff for into a little documentary of some kind. But Huachuma is a master plant, a plant of higher consciousness. If anyone is watching this and they want to know more about higher consciousness, the plant deals directly in clarity of, it helps you clearly see what is occurring, what is going on in life and in the universe. And when that clarity happens, once you see right, the right intention can follow. This is something that came through for me, was with right view, right intention can happen. And with right intention, your prayer or the words that you speak can be a reflection of that intention. And then we can act in accordance with our prayer, which is based on the right intent and the right view, the right understanding. And I'll never forget that. That was a powerful thing to understand, and it's helped me to calm down. I don't have to act immediately all the time. It's taking the time to meditate and have right understanding can actually prevent a lot of action that is unnecessary or redundant, and you can spend more time being peaceful in the world. And spiritual path really is a beautiful path, a really beautiful path, very precious. I hope you enjoyed watching the video, the documentary. I've never seen anything like that in my life. Literally a kingdom made out of light. A kingdom made out of light. It's like, phew. You're just so held. It's like Shavasana 2.0.